Breaking overnight, a gunshot victim pulls up to officers during a traffic stop asking for help. Good morning, I'm Niyah Gonzalez. Police say they were making a stop near Fontenelle and Wirt when another vehicle pulled up to officers. That was just before 10:30 Friday night. The defense asked for probation. Jerome Payton Jr.'s mother says that would be unjust. The judge agreed with her, sending Moyers to prison. A new change by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services will strip nearly 200 disabled children of Medicaid assistance. John, in my hand here, I have a piece of this fence, and you can see this giant hole. This is where that plane initially landed before eventually landing a few feet down in front of a driveway. I'm told once that possible tornado or storm, if you will, once it touched down, it lasted all of 10 to 15 seconds. And in that time frame, you can see all this damage here. This table overturned here to my left, and police believe that it may have video cameras that captured everything, so they are looking at that. Hopefully they can find answers there, but again, still early in the investigation, but we will keep you updated as we continue to gather more details. Well, James Waverly, for a first-time event, Arch Omaha is certainly not doing too bad. The event is sold out. There's going to be thousands of people here, and the thing is, this is not your ordinary Sunday gathering. It happened right here on 60th and Ames. Police say two parents parked their car right outside this home, stepping in just seconds before witnesses saw the car rolling down the hill.
And the car was driving down the hill backwards at least 25, 30 miles per hour.
Markel Davis describes chilling moments as a car with no driver in sight heads towards the busy intersection of 60th Avenue and Ames.
And then the passenger door was open, so when I seen him, I was that's an accident.
Davis says the car hit the median at the bottom of the hill, sending 7-year-old Diego Degante airborne, landing in the middle of the road. And
I happened to just look, and I'm like, that's a kid, so I ran over there immediately.
He says Degante was unconscious when he picked him up.
So once I picked him up, I waved some cars down to call the ambulance, but luckily a cop was coming down the street.
Police and paramedics on the scene within minutes. Degante rushed to Nebraska Medicine. He suffered a skull fracture and a brain hemorrhage, but Davis says it could have been much worse.
The street light was red, so there was about 12 cars that could have been coming this way when the car was coming down the hill, that even if no one was in it, could have definitely still hit other cars or kill someone else. So it definitely was a luck. Now
that young boy was taken to Nebraska Medicine with critical injuries, but police say they're not life-threatening. Reporting near 60th and Ames, Niyah Gonzalez, KETV News Watch 7.
I'm living a nightmare right now.
A call no mom ever wants to answer. The emotion still raw hours after Michelle Bridger learned her son had been shot.
I was frozen at that point. And I'm yelling, Stan, to get dressed, that we needed to go to the apartment to find out what was going on.
First responders on the scene at the Pheasant Ridge Apartments in Bellevue Tuesday night ultimately could not save her son.
The ambulance, the fire trucks, and when I got to the apartment, I just knew something wasn't right.
Someone shot 23-year-old Brian Failer in the back. He died in the hospital.
And he told me right then and there that Brian had passed away. They couldn't tell me anything. I still, at this point, I don't know anything.
Now the family wonders how this happened and why.
He'd give you the shirt off his back if you needed it. He loved his family.
I just don't understand any of this. I'm just having a hard time trying to figure out why somebody would be so cold and heartless.
So they wait for police to find Brian's killer.
We just pray for justice and closure.
Unloading corn and into a bin. We were moving corn and taking from one place to the other.
63-year-old Kurt Kaiser has been a grain farmer for more than 40 years, but it was one simple mistake that could have cost his life.
If I could have got by that first load, unloading, I think I'd have thought of it or seen it, but I was in that routine like I always used to do, and I didn't think of it.
He says he stepped out of his truck, turned around the corner,
and stepped in the hopper in that little hole. It just sucked my leg in, and I was trying to pull it out, and it kept pulling.
And there was no one around to help.
When it first happened, I can remember telling myself, this ain't good. This is not good at all.
Kaiser couldn't find a cell phone to call anyone, his desperation growing.
I thought, how long am I going to stay conscious here? You know, because I didn't know what to expect. And then I felt it jerk me again. I thought, well, I was going in, they're going to grab me and pull me in further.
And he was left with just one option.
Then I had my pocket knife in my pocket. I thought, well, the only way I'm getting out of here is cut it off. So I just started sawing on it.
He amputated his own leg.
When I was cutting it, the nerve endings. I could feel them just ping every time when I'd start sawing around that pipe. And all at once it went and let me go. So I got the heck out of there.
He then army crawled 150 feet across the farm to the nearest phone to call for help.
I stayed conscious all the way to the hospital. I remember being unloaded up here and on life flight.
See, this is really challenging his balance.
Now Kaiser's healing up, going through therapy at Madonna Rehabilitation Center in Lincoln.
He pretty much told me his goal was, I need to get home and get back to what I was doing before, and his main goal is farming.
The front wheels don't turn, the back wheels do.
Despite what happened, Kaiser's occupational therapist Danny Willie says his attitude has been extremely positive.
I ain't too bad.
Pretty nonchalant about everything that actually happened, like it was no big deal.
It is what it is. Make the best of it is all you can do. I mean, it could have always been worse.
He was released from the rehabilitation center on Friday. He'll continue healing until he can get a prosthetic leg, but he wants others to learn from his mistake.
I paid the price here of being in a hurry and not paying attention, basically.
In Lincoln, Niyah Gonzalez, KETV News Watch 7.